So today's video is sponsored by the Godox IM30, which is what I'm going to be using to shoot this portrait series. Now, if you follow the channel at all, you'll know that we use massive 3200 watt lights usually, and this is very much not that. However, this does bring in a very interesting point in photography, which is style. It's very easy to get carried away with the best tech, the best kit, the bigger, the louder, the more expensive. But when it comes down to pure aesthetic, even if you look at this quick shot I took of the background of my studio with this earlier, there is a certain charm and characteristic sometimes of smaller equipment, and there's definitely a time and a place for it. For me, this here is all about that point and shoot film camera that you had back as a child, or I guess if you're nowadays old, this is a more powerful version of your iPhone flash. So what we're going to do here is our model JC, he's going to sit for us for a few moments whilst I explain how to get that on-camera film photography flash look, how to meter it, how to expose it, and how to get the best out of this, because there's definitely an aesthetic to this which is very much in trend at the moment. And even on our big sets where we're shooting with thousands of watts of lights, we still recreate this as a key light very often. So what we're going to do here with JC, I'm going to get him to pull a load of really exaggerated facial expressions. I'm going to come in really close at 50 millimeters or wider with the flash, but the first thing we need to do is set up our camera. So I'm at 100 ISO and 125th of a second. I'm thinking I'm going to want to be at about f8. So we're going to take a frame first of all, just to make sure we're not getting too much distraction from the LED lights that are lighting the video. So obviously you can see me, I take a frame with no flash at all, it's going to come through to capture one, and it is pitch black, which is perfect, that's exactly what we want. That means at current, the flash will be the only thing having any impact on this shot. Now this is powered off AAA batteries, so the recycling time is not lightning fast. So we've got it turned on, I've got a fresh set of batteries in there. I'm just going to come in for composition, that's great. Try and avoid the toilet roll dispenser on the wall, perfect. Got our first frame, full power, that's actually pretty good. Now you can see the background's a bit dark. I want to make that background a little bit brighter, but I don't really want to change the exposure on the face, so I'm going to use my shutter speed, because that's going to control the ambient. I'm going to drop down to a 60th, same sort of thing again, JC. So chin up a tiny bit there, that's great there, perfect. That's great. We're getting a little bit more light now from the background for the greens. Let's go a bit more, let's go 30th of a second. That's great, chin up a little bit higher again for me, same face, perfect. Now let's wait for the recycle. Brilliant, let's see how that is. Much better, I'm loving that, really dramatic sort of look. As we come into the computer here, I have ever so slightly missed focus perhaps. We've got that hot spot in the eyes, the shadow under the chin, very direct flash. Let's try a little bit more. So up the shutter speed to 60th again. I think that was probably the sweet spot. That's great. It's coming in from this angle here. Brilliant. Let's try one more. Perfect. And what we're going to do now is shoot in portrait. Now the problem is, this here currently is on axis with the lens, which is great. As I turn it, it's coming in from the side. This will cause a different shadow. So we're going to try this for a couple of shots. I'm going to come in, so chin down a bit more for me. I'm going to come in wide and close and really feel that frame. Now there'll be a point here where we're too close and we're only going to light half of the face, which is kind of there, and we're getting a very big shadow on the back side of the frame. So this time, let me turn your body this way. I'm going to put the flash over here. I'm going to come in from this side. That's great. Perfect, now we're just going to hide that shadow. Almost. So we're just hiding it behind the head a little bit. Obviously it's still there, but it's less distracting. But it allows us to go to portrait orientation. What I used to do back in the day would be I'd hold this in one hand, hold it over camera, and then shoot it there. But of course, I've long lost my cables for doing such things. Now the next thing I want to do is much more up against the background, showing you that vignetted film on-camera flash look. So JC, if I just get you to stand up against the background, this is probably where I need a step ladder, because you're about 8 foot tall. Let's bring you in this way a little bit. I've got a bit of negative fill on this side just to help us. I'm just going to move your hat so I don't step on it.
Face is still?
Face is still very much so. That's great, stay there for me. Now at the moment I'm at 50 millimeters. And what I'm going to do now is go wider and wider. This flash is so small, it only gets to the very centre. We need to open up a bit as well if we've gone further back. So at 5, 6. That's better. So we're going to come much wider now to 35. That's great. Just drop your elbows down a little bit, so a good amount of distortion here. Chin up slightly. Perfect. That's great. So the arms are a little bit too big. You've been going to the gym too much. We need to, so you need to lift your chin up so it's so wide. That's great. Fold your arms up, really drop them down a little bit, and then chin higher up a bit. I'm going to come up here. We're going to go really wide. I'm literally on my tiptoes here, just trying to get the angle right. There we go. And you'll notice it'll be hot in the centre of the frame, and it vignettes as it goes out. Now your head is much too small compared to your arms with this wide lens there, so we need you to really lean your head forward. So lean forward to me, lean forward. That's it, like proper. There it goes, that's perfect. That's great. That's brilliant, stay there. Let's just move you just a little bit further this way, that's perfect. That's great. That's brilliant. So same again, but much more aggressive. Show some teeth almost. That's it, that's great there. Stay there. And a little bit further back for me. Perfect. That's great. And properly like grimace at me. There you go. Brilliant. Perfect. And again, it just really shows how you can get creative with such a small flash. I mean, this here, even on max power, is less than the usual stuff we use on minimum power. So it's a huge difference. We control the ambient over here. So if I just bring you around this way, actually, JC, we'll have the background of the studio. Let's bring you a little bit more this way. A little bit more. Perfect there. So just to show you, just shooting in this opposite direction here, we've got lights flaring in from behind us. Might just need to come in a little bit closer for exposure. Yep. That's great, let's go really wide. You'll really be able to see the difference from the background exposure. So now if we drop all the way down to like a 15th, same shot, the background will become much brighter. And as we go back up to 125th, we'll really crush the ambient light in the room. Just to give you a better idea as to how this works. Not really the aesthetic we want to go for, but the tight headshots over here, really like those, and they'd definitely be something I'd shoot for my body of work.